Since the formation of the World Surf League in 1976, surfing has expanded from a niche pastime for the hip and carefree to a globally celebrated sport. Many of the top names in surfing have managed to carve out long careers in the sport thanks to lucrative sponsorship deals and equally substantial prize money from the many competitions around the world. Surfing is now a multi-billion-dollar industry that has come a long way from its humble beginnings. And for huge numbers of people, surfing isn't just a recreational activity, it's a way of life. Ultimately, it is this way of life that has led surfers of all abilities to travel the world in search of their personal surfing paradise. And 400 kilometers north of the equator in the Indian Sea, some say they have found it.
During the French winter, I was looking for somewhere to go with my girlfriend that had good surf. I was looking for good waves and, if possible, somewhere that wasn't too busy and somewhere that I'd never been before. I looked around and then decided to come to Sri Lanka.
Situated off the southern tip of India, the tropical island of Sri Lanka has beguiled travelers for centuries with its cultural heritage, historical monuments, and diverse landscape. With 1.8 million tourists visiting Sri Lanka every year, tourism is a vital pillar in the country's economy, generating 11% of annual GDP. The quaint coastal towns in the south of Sri Lanka are popular destinations. Shihan Rainat is a surf instructor from the tourist town of Hikkaduwa.
A lot of people around here rely on tourism, whether it's from the sea or from the forests. I think around 70% depend on tourism, and the other 30% make a living from fishing. Surf tourism is what pays my rent, and surfing is also what I love to do. I'd still do it, even if I wasn't being paid.
Although surfing has been popular in many parts of Asia for some time, this sport has been slow to catch on in Sri Lanka. The surf breaks are impressive here, yet sadly that was a factor in the natural disaster which hit Sri Lanka 12 years ago. On the 26th of December 2004, the southern coast of Sri Lanka was left devastated after an underwater earthquake triggered a tsunami. The 9.1 strength earthquake and subsequent tsunami killed over 230,000 people in 14 countries, with waves reportedly reaching up to 30 meters high in some places. Sri Lanka was one of the worst hit countries. The waves swept through the coastal towns and villages. In Galle, it's believed that 10% of the population were killed, including 1,700 people who died as an overcrowded commuter train was hit by a 9-meter wave. Local surfer Shashika Abewekama was 9 years old when the tsunami struck his village just south of Galle.
There was very little warning. After the first wave, we could see there was a bigger wave in the distance, so me and my father climbed one of the palm trees and hung on. In our village, around 160 people died. All of the buildings that were within 500 meters of the coast were destroyed.
Sri Lanka began picking up the pieces from its shattered communities as international aid was received. But the cleanup became long and arduous, with reports of mistreated funds and large-scale corruption hindering the redevelopment process. Thankfully, though, today Sri Lanka is back on its feet, with a financially stable economy focusing on long-term strategic and structural development challenges. For the people in the beach town of Hikkaduwa, surf tourism has opened up an avenue, and some are exploring it as a possible source of income.
We can pretty much surf every day. The locals are really easygoing, and living here isn't as expensive compared with living at home in France. So it works out well.
But it isn't just tourism that's driving the surf culture in Sri Lanka. The scene is growing as more and more locals try to tame the waves that once ripped through their homes. It may not be long before big-name surfers come to these shores to sample what the swell and scenery has to offer. But until then, Shashika and his friends have to turn to the internet for their surfing inspiration.
I practice every day. When I'm not teaching surfing or working in our family cafe, I watch a lot of videos about professional surfing. I really like Kelly Slater. He's an amazing surfer. He has so much confidence and style when he's out on the water. I hope one day I can be just like him.
Producing the next Kelly Slater may be a long way off, but with a blossoming surfing scene, don't be surprised to see a handful of Sri Lankans at international competitions in the years to come.